Welcome back everybody, my name is Teacher Carl and welcome back to the Viata International Academy channel here on YouTube. In today's class, we're going to have a look at types of classroom language. Now there's going to be lots and lots of phrases that you regularly hear within the classroom. Some of them you might not be too sure about. So let's have a look and get into some of the action. So first, I've broken it down into some small segments that we can look at. In the next part of the video, we're going to have a look at some more in a bit more detail. So let's start with expressions to start the class. Now these could be used by your teacher or they could be used by yourself. Hopefully, if you have a nice teacher, you're going to be greeted with something like hi, hello, good morning or good afternoon, depending on the time of the class. Next, you're probably going to be on the receiving end of some imperatives. The teacher is very likely to give you some instructions. Now, it might be something like take off your jacket so you become more comfortable in the learning environment. Maybe they're going to ask you to close the door. One that you will hear a lot is please sit down. Take out your textbooks, a critical part of starting any class. And if you are like me and sometimes you forgot your textbook, you may be asked to share a textbook with one of your classmates. Next, the teacher is going to look to be organizing the class. So he might simply, or she might simply say, turn to page 93 and we're going to do exercise 6. However, if they're feeling a little more cunning, they might try to test you. They might say, what page are we on? In which case, it's very important you know what page of the textbook you continued from the last class. Otherwise, you're probably going to be in a bit of trouble. Or maybe the teacher is going to ask you to get into pairs, or maybe to get into teams. And finally, hopefully, they're going to tell you what they plan on teaching you today. So today we're going to learn about animals or buildings or machines or inventions. Next, there's going to be some expressions that we can use or the teacher will use in order to get attention. So usually at the beginning of the class they might say, okay, ready, let's begin. Maybe they might say, if you have a question, please put your hand up. This is the most useful way in which a teacher can organize a class without everybody talking over one another. And maybe if the teacher didn't hear what you said, they may ask you to repeat what you said. So they may say something like, oh, sorry, Juan, what did you say? Or maybe could you repeat that? The most popular classroom request, now this is going to come from the students. Can I go to the bathroom, please? Another one that's going to come from the students, and we hope it doesn't come from the teachers, is can I borrow a pen? Maybe you forgot, or maybe you've left your pen somewhere and you need to ask your classmates to borrow a pen, maybe some paper. The teacher may ask you to read something. Maybe they've displayed something on a screen or some text on a board and they would like you to read the text out loud. And if you don't speak loud enough, if you're only speaking quietly like this, then they may say, could you please speak louder? I can't hear you. And finally, some expressions for ending the class. You're very likely to hear something like, okay guys, stop working, which is always a very good sign. Maybe he's going to be clearer or she is going to be more clearer by saying, okay, we are at the end of the class. And if they are very, very nice, and hopefully this will be reciprocal, they're going to say, see you tomorrow, or maybe see you next week, or maybe see you on Monday. In the next part of the video, we're going to have more of a detailed look at classroom language and how we can use it. Now we're going to have a look at a few phrases surrounding classroom materials, when the teacher is giving instructions, how the teacher will look to control the class, and maybe something else that you may not have heard. So let's start with some phrases for classroom materials. The teacher is very likely to ask to ensure, has everybody got some paper? Or has everybody got a pen? Two very critical pieces of material you're gonna need for a successful class. If you're struggling to understand a word, or maybe you need help with a definition, then it's probably gonna need a dictionary that you require. And maybe at the end of the class or the beginning of a new activity, you may be asked to put your textbooks away into your bag. Usually, the teacher will give instructions most of the time. I'm hoping it's very important. So he may or she may say something like, please repeat after me. Please repeat after me. Can you give me some more examples? Do you understand? A very important question for teachers. I use this one a lot myself. And that's a great word, but can you spell it for me? Can you spell it for me? Now, there are going to be scenarios where the class could be a little bit unruly and there could be some problems. So the teacher is going to have to implement some phrases in order to control the class. Now, these will usually come in the form of imperatives. So you may have be quiet, no noise, sit down, or if they're particularly aggressive, they may tell you to shut up. If they're nice, they may make their imperative a request, so it could be please pay attention, or stop talking and listen to me. And finally, a few phrases that you may not have heard. The teacher may ask you, have you been playing truant? If you have been truant, it means you have been absent from school without a decent explanation. They may say to you, and they used to say this to me a lot, couldn't you drag yourself out of bed this morning? They usually say this when you're looking a bit tired and a bit uninterested in the class. If the teacher tells you to pull your finger out, well, that's not a good thing because they are asking you to make more effort in the class. And if they say, please, please, please don't go bananas, they're looking to exert a small bit of control and they hope everybody doesn't go crazy with excitement. So there we have it. We can conclude our look at the use of classroom language. Hopefully you found this video interesting, and hopefully I will see you in the next class on the Viata International Academy channel here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.